Stock check during each podcast. I don't think my coworkers would like that. I don't think my co-hosts would like the fact that we are all basically doing pretty poorly now. At least only one of us is positive, but this is a lot of money out of starving children's mouths, you know? Yikes, the market, dude. Lord President Trump, I know you're on the right path. I know you know what our country needs, and I know you're bringing us to salvation. But if you could just do it a little bit quicker so that I could make more money for charity, that would be great. So you're the only one not stealing from children? Well, I steal from children on my own time. When it comes to stocks, I'm not going to mess around, but I obviously steal from children and charities for fun on my own time. And kids eating tariffs for dinner. Dude, it's crazy. Chili's finally went negative. RIP to a real one, dude. Chili's went negative. American economy is doomed. Buy the dip, buy the chip. Yeah, I have to do another Chili's stream. I have to save Chili's stock by, I think, flying to New York and having a Chili's dinner with Squeaks. It might be the only way to save Chili's stock. Stands is down 6%, largely on the back of Vistra Corp being a huge goose egg. TSMC also doing quite poorly, largely on the fact that China's probably going to invade. Largely off the fact that there's less and less reason holding back China from just invading. Should have done for-profit prisons, my dog. Waste management still solid. This guy knows his shit about WM. Even Oklo is down. That's crazy. Oklo was a 100% gain in January and is now negative. The market giveth and taketh away, my friends. Worth saying, the average picked stock is down 3%. How much is the S&P down? It's a great question. I don't have the exact number, but S&P 500 year to date is down 2%. So it's basically about aligned. Yeah, I think it's about the same as the S&P 500, which is down about 2.5. Damn, y'all really hate charity? Yeah, well, never. We're always about grinding, you know, pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. What I do for charity is I walk around impoverished neighborhoods in the inner city, and I hand out Shure SM7Bs. And I say, why don't you try podcasting? And then often I take food almost out of their mouths. Hey, I can predict this is the year of nuclear, but most nuclear companies' stocks are down. Yes, that is actually not against that. It's exactly what you would imply. Like if I were to say the year of drill baby drill, I would expect most oil company stocks to be down. Profit is a function of decreased supply. I think governments are going to recognize the importance of nuclear, which they are doing. I think a bunch of governments have already announced nuclear initiatives. There's going to be more building. Companies are going to recognize the need to build it, but it's not particularly profitable. It's not like it's going to be a huge monopoly profit situation. That's where the biggest money is in stocks. I read the energy supplier won't benefit by the material supplier will. It's possible. The material suppliers benefit in the short term, right? So if you're a uranium miner, you're going to benefit in the short term. But as the price of uranium goes up, many more uranium mines open up to exploit that demand. It's like reminding me of when there wasn't that many copper mines in the world. And then copper became a more valuable thing because of EVs and other things. And so for a brief period, copper miners made a lot of excess profits. And then a bunch of new copper mines were discovered and opened up. And then the profit got driven down. So I would say, yeah, realistically, I think it's more of like a political thing, political push towards nuclear than it is like a profitable thing. Did you see that Meta is the only one of the Mag 7 to be up this year? Sheesh, Zuckerberg. Look at you go, Tesla. Bro, more than a third less valuable this year. Yikes. Look at Zuckerberg, dude. Really out here being the last man standing. Why is Tesla down so much? Well, all these Mag 7 are down. Dude, we're witnessing right now an insane rotation out of American stocks into like European stocks, Chinese stocks. It's crazy. We are seeing huge rotations out of American companies into European companies, European defense companies, European infrastructure companies, you might say it has something to do with starting a constant global trade war against every one of our allies at once. Yo, Mr. A, I have one and only one question for you. You regularly say a couple French words to make a point, and I was wondering where you learned or what they meant, how to pronounce them. Usually get close, though. I have no idea what you're talking about. Sometimes I say je ne sais quoi, bon appetit, carte blanche. Yeah, I guess there's a couple things. But they're all like essentially almost like American finance phrases. We co-opted them. Excited for another podcast with only white men. So I made that joke in the YouTube video today as I did the promotion. And I'll tell you guys this. In order to balance out the podcast, I sincerely thought about pulling a Trudeau, but I was advised against it. I sincerely thought maybe we could We could balance this out. Maybe if I just pull a quick Trudeau, no one will know it's a 3 white guy podcast, but I think I fumbled the bag, but I decided to just go with my natural face. If 3 white guys with swag have enough swag, they can make a podcast about a duck song. Not about a duck song. I've already seen people claim the podcast is about the lemonade stand duck song. It's not. It's not even a little bit. Not even a tiny bit. Really just a humorous podcast about business and the news. It's not, certainly not got any grapes. It's not a part of the theme in any way. Anyway, I'll show the trailer here in a second, but it's open for business. Check that link. And I had a blast recording it. I had a blast doing the promo, and I just like those guys. You know, me, Doug, and Aiden have spent a lot more time together lately talking about shit, talking about the news and shit. And so we finally decided we have to capture. The world needs this to be recorded. Nothing more arrogant than an LA podcaster, I'll tell you that. Anyway, I hope you guys check it out. This is Aiden engineering another podcast to double his income. I will say this, the person that moved this all forward was Aiden. Aiden, who already has a podcast and a job, he was the one really like keeping everything moving. He's trying to collect them like infinity stones, dude. He wants to, he's going to diversify. Oh, did you see the set though? I'm not making any money on it anytime soon. That set was not cheap, not even for 1/3 of it, but it's a cool ass set. So now that you're a podcaster, does that mean you'll be the Lakers coach in 2 years? God willing, Lord above, I've seen what you've done for others and I want that for me. Please give me JJ Redick's life, dude. God, I just want to be up there coaching the Lakers, hanging out with Braun and Bronny and Luca. Doug said a significant portion of the budget went to the bathroom. Is that true? Honestly, yes. And I'll explain why. The podcast is called Lemonade Stand, and the idea was, what if 3 like tech bro douchebags got a bunch of venture capital money to open a lemonade stand? That was like the original kind of idea. It's like, what would our office look like if we just blew a bunch of money on all this useless shit instead of just selling lemonade? And then Doug, he like pulled the contractor aside when they were building and like requested something special that he put extra money in for, where when you're peeing in the bathroom, there's this big comically large yellow pipe that goes into the wall, comes out the other side in the back of the set, and it looks like it's in the lemonade creation. It looks like we're just selling pee. It looks like recycling pee. A little toilet humor from Doug. Guys, do you think I'm going to have to eventually give Dan Giesling access to this thing where I can pull chat messages up? I've been stalling for a long time. He still has to beat Radon. I think we all agree on that. He still hasn't beaten Radon. Make him follow you first. He actually did follow me is the problem. I'm surprised Otto doesn't work for Twitch or Google. Not that Otto couldn't, because he's an extremely talented coder, but I think you guys are underestimating, first of all, how much Otto gets paid, which is really well. And then secondly, how much his life seems to be really nice. It's very relaxed. He works on, weird random projects for Ludwig, has a lot of downtime. He hangs out with friends. I don't know. I think Otto's like designed a life pretty good. He could be possibly richer working at Google, but I don't know if he'd be happier. You should get Clancy on the pod so you can confront about Clancyville. I would love to bring Dan Clancy on the pod and squash the beef. That's actually such a funny idea to bring Dan. This is an open invitation to Dan Clancy to come on our new podcast, Lemonade Stand, featuring me, Doug, and Aiden, to squash the beef or ignite the beef. Or bring the beef to a needed second level. Because right now, I just don't know. I don't know what to do with all this anger about Clancyville. Would you actually talk to Dan Clancy about Clancyville? 100%. If Dan Clancy was on the podcast, I couldn't help myself but bringing up Clancyville. Hey, Shrug, the year of podcast was true. Yikes, I did a little bit of dirty dealing. I might have known I was making a podcast when I predicted the year of podcasts. Insider trading? Well, I didn't trade on it. We had just done a lot of research on podcasts, and I was like, yeah, this is going to be a big year, and then I'm going to make one, and then all fucking... What sort of format is your podcast? Is it like shooting the shit on business? It is based around real conversations me, Doug, and Aiden were having. We were bringing like a triforce of topics. I was often bringing business topics. He was often bringing tech topics, Doug, and Aiden was often bringing political topics. And we were learning from each other and also having a good time debating and making fun of each other. And so we thought it would be a fun idea to sort of expand that into a podcast. The idea is that we're all going to bring topics that we're uniquely interested in or passionate about every week and kind of explain them to each other and the audience and then poke fun at them or learn more, debate, whatever. That's the idea. We're having special segments, of course. We have a cool fucking presentation wall. I mean, we have a bunch of good things coming. I don't want to spoil it all. There's a lot more episodes to go, but that's the idea. We want to do like an all-in podcast that's not full of grifters on Zoom. Billionaire grifters on Zoom. We want to do the opposite of that, but with similar kind of topics. When will Elon be on? God willing, episode 2, so we can make the hard pivot into being a full Joe Rogan. I'm going to have a lot of the Texas comedy scene on. And then Lemonade Coin launches episode 3. Hilarity ensues, pitch. That's how I said it all. And the point isn't even hilarity. The point is like learning, and there'll be a little, it's lighthearted, but it's not a comedy podcast. It is like a news, just not so boring. I think this is like the core thesis of every content I do, which is like, the news does not have to be boring. I think this is like the spirit of, it doesn't have to be. We have this idea that or anything in business or tech, it has to be boring. No, it doesn't have to be boring. So that's the idea.